The transport shuttle lurched as it docked with the medical station. Owen Blake checked his emergency kit one more time while Ranger sat pressed against his leg. The German shepherd's ears were up and alert, sensing his handler's tension. "This is bad," the pilot's voice crackled through the comm. "They've been calling for help for 6 hours. 3 of their doctors are down." Owen scratched behind Ranger's ears. "We've handled worse." The airlock hissed open. Owen stepped through with Ranger at his heel and immediately heard screaming. A bird-like alien stumbled backward, wings flaring in panic. Her feathers puffed up to twice their normal size. "Predator! Security!" "There is a predator on the station." More aliens appeared in the corridor. They took one look at Ranger and scattered. Some pressed themselves against walls. Others dove through doorways. One small reptilian creature fainted completely. Owen raised his hands. "Wait, he's not dangerous. He's a medical service dog." "Dog?" The bird alien's voice went even higher. "That is an apex hunter. Look at those teeth. Those claws. It will kill us all." Ranger tilted his head, confused by all the noise. His tail wagged once, uncertain. "Please, I need to speak with whoever's in charge," Owen said. "I'm Dr. Blake from Earth's Disaster Response Team. You called for medical assistance." A tall alien pushed through the crowd. She had 4 arms and a body that looked like it was made of overlapping plates similar to an insect. Her compound eyes studied Owen and Ranger carefully. "I am Dr. Fallness," she said. Her voice was calmer than the others, but Owen could see her secondary arms trembling. "We did request help. We did not expect you to bring a killing machine." "Ranger isn't a killing machine. He's trained for search and rescue. He can detect over 200 medical conditions by scent alone. He's saved more lives than most doctors I know." The bird alien, who wore an administrator's badge that read Quillen, fluttered forward but kept her distance. "Impossible. Predators destroy. They do not heal." "On Earth, we learned something a long time ago," Owen said. "The strongest partnerships come from the most unlikely places. Humans and dogs have worked together for 30,000 years. 30,000? Dr. Fallness's antennae twitched. "You domesticated an apex predator?" "We didn't really domesticate them. It was more like we chose each other." Owen knelt beside Ranger. His ancestors were wolves. Yes, dangerous hunters. But they learned that humans were good partners. We learned the same about them. Now can we please discuss the medical emergency? People are dying. Quillen's feathers were still puffed up. That creature cannot roam freely on this station. Our people evolved from prey species. Every instinct we have screams danger when we see those teeth, those eyes. "Do you understand what you brought here?" An alarm blared through the corridor. Red lights flashed. Dr. Fallness touched her communication device. "What is it?" "The infection reached the critical care ward," a panicked voice responded. "We've lost contact with the entire medical team. The contamination levels are rising. We are sealing the section now." Quillen turned to Owen. "We have a pathogen spreading through the lower decks. It attacks the respiratory system. Nothing we try stops it. 47 patients are in quarantine. Now an entire ward is cut off." "Let me help," Owen said. "Not with that beast." Ranger suddenly stood up. His nose twitched. He pulled toward a ventilation grate in the wall, whining softly. "What's wrong with it?" Quillen asked, stepping back. Owen watched his partner carefully. "Ranger, what do you smell?" The dog pawed at the grate, then looked back at Owen and whined again. "He's detecting something wrong with your air circulation," Owen said. "Ranger can smell chemical changes that your instruments might miss. If he's this interested in your ventilation system, you need to check it immediately." Dr. Fallness looked skeptical. "Our sensors would detect any contamination. Would they detect a slow leak?" "A gradual buildup. Ranger's nose has over 300 million scent receptors. Human noses only have 6 million. Your technology might be advanced, but biology has its own advantages." Another alarm sounded, then another. 3 more sections reporting illness, someone called out. "The infection is spreading faster." Quillen's wings drooped. "We cannot risk having a predator loose during a crisis. Security will escort you to a quarantine zone. You will remain there until this emergency is resolved, or until we can send you back to Earth." "You're making a mistake," Owen said. "Perhaps, but it is my station and my decision." Quillen gestured to 2 large security officers who had been lurking at the edge of the corridor. "Take them to Isolation Wing 7. The security team kept their weapons pointed at Ranger as they walked. The dog remained calm, staying close to Owen's side. They passed through several checkpoints, and at each one, Aliens stopped what they were doing to stare in horror at the monster being paraded through their station. The quarantine zone was a small room, with a large window looking out into a medical bay. Owen could see alien doctors rushing around in hazmat suits. Some looked exhausted, others moved with the jerky panic of people who didn't know what else to try. "You will stay here," one security officer said. "Food will be provided. Do not attempt to leave." The door sealed with a hiss. Owen sat down on the floor. Ranger immediately lay down beside him, resting his head on Owen's lap. "They're scared," Owen said quietly. "Can't really blame them." "You do look pretty fierce, buddy." Ranger's tail thumped once against the floor. Through the window, Owen watched the medical team struggle. They were fighting the pathogen with every tool they had, but he could see they were losing. More patients arrived every few minutes. The doctors were running out of beds, out of supplies, out of hope. Ranger suddenly sat up. His ears pointed forward. He stared at the window and began to whine, soft and insistent. "What is it, boy?" The dog walked to the window and pawed at it. His whining grew more urgent. Owen stood and looked where Ranger was focused. In the medical bay, a young alien nurse, similar in species to Quillen, had stopped moving. She swayed on her feet, then her knees buckled. "Someone help her," Owen shouted, pounding on the window. But the other medical staff were too busy with their own patients. They didn't notice their colleague collapsing. Ranger barked sharp and loud. He scratched at the door, then looked back at Owen. "I know, buddy. I know." Owen studied the door's locking mechanism. It was electronic, probably coded to the station's security system. He looked back at the window. The nurse was on the floor now, her wings twitching weakly. Ranger barked again. Owen made his decision. He opened his emergency kit and pulled out a small device that Earth teams used for forced entry during disasters. "Sorry, Administrator Quillen, but I didn't come here to sit in a box while people die." The lock sparked and hissed. The door slid open. Ranger bolted through, heading straight for the fallen nurse. Owen ran after him, grabbing medical supplies as he went. Alarms began to wail throughout the station. Security guards rushed into the medical bay, weapons raised. They froze when they saw Ranger lying down next to the collapsed nurse, his body pressed against her side. "He's keeping her warm," Owen said, kneeling beside them. He pulled out his scanner. "She's going into shock. Her body temperature is dropping." Ranger sensed it. The nurse's eyes opened weakly. She saw the dog's face inches from hers and made a small sound of fear. "Easy," Owen said softly. "He won't hurt you. What's your name?" "Piran," she whispered. "Okay, Piran. I'm going to help you. Just stay still." Dr. Falness pushed through the security team. Her forearms carried various medical instruments. "Step away from her immediately." "Not until she's stable." Owen injected Piran with a broad-spectrum stabilizer from his kit. "Your people are collapsing because this pathogen is causing cascade failures in your respiratory systems. The shock is secondary, but it's what's killing you faster than the disease itself. Our treatments should prevent that," Dr. Falness said, but she sounded uncertain. "Should isn't the same as does." Owen checked his scanner again. Piran's vitals are improving. Ranger's body heat is helping maintain her core temperature while the medicine works. The nurse's breathing steadied. Some color returned to her feathers. She looked at Ranger again, and this time there was less fear in her eyes. "Good boy," Owen murmured, stroking Ranger's head. "You knew she needed help before any of us did." Administrator Quillen arrived with more security. "You broke quarantine. You released a predator into a medical zone. I should have you arrested." "Then arrest me after I save your people." Owen stood up. "But right now I need you to listen. Ranger detected something wrong with your ventilation system. I think your pathogen is spreading through the air circulation, not just through contact." "Our systems would alert us," Quillen insisted. "Run a deep scan, not the standard safety check. A full diagnostic of your entire air circulation network." Dr. Falness's antennae twitched thoughtfully. She tapped her communication device. "Engineering, this is Dr. Falness. I need a level 5 diagnostic on all ventilation systems. Start with the medical decks." "That will take hours," the response came. "Then start now." Quillen's feathers ruffled with irritation. "You are wasting resources based on an animal's behavior." "That animal just saved Piran's life," Dr. Falness said quietly. "Perhaps we should consider that Earth species have capabilities we do not understand." Ranger stood up and stretched. Piran flinched slightly, but the dog simply walked to Owen's side and sat down, his tail wagging gently. See? Owen said. He's not aggressive. Everything he does is about helping, not hurting. A doctor rushed over.
Piran, can you stand?
The young nurse sat up slowly. I think so. I feel much better. She looked at Ranger. It really helped me. The Predator helped me. His name is Ranger, Owen said. And yes, he helped you. Piran reached out one wingtip tentatively. Ranger sniffed it carefully, then licked it once gently. The nurse made a sound that might have been a laugh. It's warm and soft. I thought predators would be cold. Mammals maintain high body temperatures, Owen explained. Dogs specifically evolved to be companions. They're biologically driven to form bonds and provide comfort. This is fascinating, Dr. Fallness said, studying Ranger with new interest. On Tassara, our apex predators are solitary and extremely aggressive. The concept of a social predator that seeks to help rather than hunt is completely foreign to us. On Earth, we have both kinds, Owen said. But the social ones, like wolves, are the ones humans partnered with. We learned together. Humans got better hunters and guardians. Wolves got reliable food and protection. Everyone benefited. Quillen's communication device beeped. She listened, and her feathers slowly began to flatten. Engineering found something. There are microfractures in the ventilation shafts on decks 4 through 7. The pathogen is concentrating in those areas and spreading through air circulation. Ranger smelled it, Owen said. He was trying to tell us. This changes nothing about the danger that creature represents, Quillen said. But her voice had less certainty now. Administrator, with respect, you're wrong. Dr. Fallness looked at Ranger, then at Owen. We are losing this fight. Our doctors are exhausted. Our treatments are failing. Perhaps it is time to consider that our fear is costing lives. An emergency alert cut through the conversation. Red lights flashed across all the displays. Hot zone breach on deck 5, a panicked voice announced. Multiple casualties. The infection levels are lethal. We're sealing the entire section. How many people are trapped? Quillen demanded. 47 patients. 2 doctors. We cannot send teams in. The contamination will kill anyone within minutes. Owen felt Ranger press against his leg. The dog looked up at him, alert and ready. Our hazmat suits are failing, Dr. Fallness said. The pathogen breaks down the seal materials. We have no way to reach those people. Earth suits are different, Owen said. We built them to handle biological weapons and chemical warfare. Our world is harsh. Our oceans have creatures that spray acid. Our air has spores that can kill. We designed our protection to handle things your people never evolved to face. Quillen stared at him. You want to go into the hot zone? Ranger and I are trained for exactly this kind of situation. Owen pulled out his portable biosuit from his emergency kit. This suit was tested in Earth's deadliest environments. If it can handle a viral outbreak in the Amazon rainforest, it can handle your pathogen. You would risk your life? After how we treated you? That's what we do. It's why you called Earth for help in the first place. Dr. Fallness's forearms moved in what might have been respect. If you go in there, you will need someone to monitor your status from outside. Someone who understands what to look for. Are you volunteering? Owen asked. I am a doctor. Those are my patients. If you can save them, I will assist however I can. Quillen looked between them, then at Ranger, who sat calmly waiting for orders. This is insanity. We are trusting a human and a predator to save our people. Sometimes the best help comes from unexpected places, Owen said. He began pulling on his biosuit. Ranger, gear up. The dog immediately went to Owen's pack and nosed open a compartment. Inside was a smaller suit designed specifically for canine biology. Owen had modified it himself after a disaster response mission in Europe. Ranger stepped into it naturally, having done this dozens of times before. The aliens watched in amazement as Owen sealed the suit around his partner, checking every connection carefully. He understands what you're doing, Dr. Fallness said. He cooperates. We're a team, Owen said simply. He trusts me. I trust him. That's how it works. Piran stood nearby, still weak but recovering. Be careful in there. The pathogen causes respiratory failure within minutes, even with your suit if there is any breach. I know the risks. Owen checked his oxygen supply. Ranger, ready? The dog barked once, muffled by the suit. Let's go save some lives. They headed toward the sealed section. Behind them, aliens who had scattered in fear just hours ago now watched with something that looked almost like hope. Quillen spoke into her communicator. All stations, this is Administrator Quillen. The human medical team is entering the hot zone. Give them whatever support they require. Even the Predator? Someone asked. Quillen looked at Ranger, who waited patiently by the sealed door, his tail wagging slowly despite the danger ahead. Especially the Predator. The suit's integrity dropped to 40%. Owen could feel the pathogen working its way through the failing seals. His breathing was getting harder. The thick air was seeping in. 30%, he said, his voice strained. How much longer on the purge? 8 more minutes, Dr. Fellness said. She was crying. Owen had never heard an alien cry before. It sounded like small clicking noises mixed with high-pitched whistles. Not going to make it. Ranger pressed himself against Owen's legs. The dog was shaking now, terrified but refusing to leave his partner. Get him out, Owen said, please. Open the door remotely and call him out. He will not leave you, Quillen said quietly. Owen looked down at his best friend. Through the fogging visor, he could see Ranger's brown eyes watching him with absolute trust and love. I'm sorry I got you into this, buddy. The door suddenly burst open. Dr. Fellness rushed in, wearing an Earth-style biosuit that looked hastily modified for her four-armed body. She carried a large case. What are you doing? Owen gasped. Saving you. She opened the case. Inside was an emergency medical system. Hold still. Your suit won't last any longer than mine. Then we work quickly. Her forearms moved with incredible speed, attaching monitors and injectors to Owen's failing suit. We cannot repair your suit, but we can treat you while you are exposed. Earth sent comprehensive medical data about human biology with your mission files. I have been studying it. She injected something through a port in his suit. Broad-spectrum antivirals. They may not stop the pathogen completely, but they will slow it down. 20% integrity, Owen said. You need to get out of here. Not until this is finished. Dr. Fellness attached a breathing assist device. Your lungs are under stress. This will help. Through the comm, Quillen's voice came through. Engineering has diverted additional power to the filtration systems. We have cut purge time to 5 minutes. Can you hold on? Owen felt the medicine working. His breathing eased slightly. Maybe, not maybe, Dr. Fellness said firmly. You will survive because I am an excellent doctor and you are too stubborn to die. Ranger barked in agreement. 10% integrity. Owen's whole body felt like it was on fire. The pathogen was in his bloodstream now, attacking his respiratory system just like it had attacked the aliens. But Dr. Fellness kept working, injecting medicines, adjusting his oxygen mix, monitoring every vital sign. 3 minutes, Quillen announced. Station-wide contamination levels have dropped 70%. The ambient pathogen is within survivable ranges. Whatever you are doing, it is working. Owen's legs gave out. He collapsed against the control panel, but his hand stayed on the override. He had to hold it. Just a little longer. Dr. Fellness held him upright with 2 arms while her other 2 continued administering treatment. Stay with us, Owen. You have a partner who needs you. Ranger was right there, his nose pressed against Owen's suit, whining constantly. 2 minutes. Owen's vision was blurring. He could hear his own heartbeat, slow and labored. The pathogen was shutting down his system piece by piece. 1 minute. Owen, your heart rate is dropping critically, Dr. Fellness said. I am giving you a stimulant. It will hurt. It did hurt. It felt like lightning in his veins, but his heart rate jumped back up. His vision cleared slightly. 30 seconds. Through the fog, Owen saw movement. More aliens were entering the hot zone. They wore the modified Earth-style suits. Piran was among them, still weak but determined. We are not letting you do this alone, the young nurse said. Purge complete, Quillen announced. Ventilation system is cycling clean air. Pathogen levels dropping rapidly. Owen's hands fell from the controls. The emergency override shut down. Clean air began flooding the hot zone. He collapsed completely. The last thing he saw before darkness took him was Ranger's face and the dog's desperate barking echoing in his ears. Owen woke up 3 days later. The first thing he felt was warmth. The second thing he felt was weight on his legs. The third thing he heard was soft snoring. He opened his eyes slowly. He was in a medical bed. The room was bright and clean, and at the foot of his bed, stretched out across his legs, was Ranger. The dog was asleep, his head resting on his paws. He looked exhausted. Ranger, Owen whispered. The dog's head shot up immediately. For a moment, Ranger just stared at him. Then the dog carefully crawled up the bed and pressed his face against Owen's, whining with relief and joy. I'm okay, buddy. I'm okay. The door opened. Dr. Falness entered, followed by Quillen and Piran. All three stopped when they saw Owen was awake. "He has been there for 3 days," Dr. Falness said, gesturing to Ranger. "He would not eat. Would not leave. We tried to move him multiple times, but he refused." "Dogs are loyal like that," Owen said, scratching Ranger's ears. "It is more than loyalty," Quillen said quietly. "It is love. We did not understand that predators could love." Piran approached the bed carefully. She held a small bowl. "We researched Earth dogs. We learned what they can eat. I made these for him, but he would not take them from us." She offered the bowl to Ranger. The dog sniffed it, then looked at Owen. "It's okay, boy. You can eat." Only then did Ranger take the offered food. He ate quickly, hungrily, but he never moved more than a few inches from Owen. "How did I survive?" Owen asked. Dr. Falness's antennae moved in a way that seemed pleased. "Your Earth biology is remarkably resilient, and your medical data was thorough. We adapted your treatments for the pathogen. You were in critical condition for the first day, but your immune system fought back harder than we expected. Plus, we had help," Quillen added. She gestured to Ranger. "When our instruments could not tell us if you were improving or declining, we watched him. When he became agitated, we knew your condition was worsening. When he calmed, we knew you were stabilizing. He was more accurate than our sensors." Owen looked at his partner. "You helped them save me?" Ranger licked his face. "The pathogen source was located," Dr. Falness said. "A research sample from a quarantined world. The storage container was damaged in a minor accident 2 weeks ago. No one noticed the crack. It had been slowly releasing contaminated material into the ventilation system ever since. And the patients? All recovering. The purge worked. Once the constant source of contamination was eliminated and the ambient levels dropped, our medical treatments became effective again." Dr. Falness sat down in a chair near the bed. "You saved 47 patients in the hot zone, and by purging the system, you saved the entire station. Over 3,000 lives." Quillen stepped forward. "I owe you an apology, Dr. Blake. I let fear control my decisions. I saw a predator when I should have seen a partner. I saw danger when I should have seen dedication. I nearly cost lives because I could not see past my own prejudices." "You were protecting your people," Owen said. "I understand that. But I was wrong about what threatened them, and I was wrong about what could save them." Quillen looked at Ranger. "May I?" Owen nodded. The administrator slowly extended her wing toward the dog. Ranger sniffed it carefully, then gently licked it, just as he had done with Piran days before. Quillen made a soft, trilling sound. "Warm, gentle, kind. These are not words I ever thought I would use for a predator." "He's not just a predator," Owen said. "He's my friend." Owen spent 2 more days recovering. During that time, something changed on the station. The fear disappeared, replaced by curiosity. Aliens would stop by his medical room just to see Ranger. At first, they kept their distance, watching from the doorway. But Ranger had a way of winning people over. He would sit patiently, tail wagging slowly until someone brave enough would reach out. Then he would gently sniff their hand or paw or tentacle and make a new friend. Dr. Falness became his most frequent visitor. She brought a data pad filled with questions. "I have been researching Earth animals," she said one morning. "The diversity is astounding. You have domesticated hundreds of species." "Not really domesticated," Owen corrected, sitting up in bed. "We partnered with some. Domestication makes it sound like we forced them. But dogs chose us as much as we chose them." "Explain this, please." Owen scratched Ranger's head. "About 30,000 years ago, wolves started hanging around human camps. They ate our leftovers. Over time, the wolves who were less afraid of humans got more food. They survived better, had more pups. Those pups were even less afraid. Eventually, they became helpers. They warned us about danger, helped us hunt, kept us warm at night. We gave them food and protection in return." "A mutual benefit arrangement," Dr. Falness said, her antennae twitching thoughtfully. "But how did they go from wolves to this?" She gestured at Ranger, who was currently lying on his back, wiggling happily as Piran nervously scratched his belly. "We bred them for different jobs. Some dogs are for herding animals, some for protection, some for hunting, some, like Ranger, for rescue and medical work. We took their natural abilities and enhanced them through selective breeding. And they do not resent this? Being shaped by another species?" Owen laughed. "Look at him. Does he look resentful?" Ranger's tail was wagging so hard his whole back half was wiggling. "He looks joyful. Piran said softly. I have never seen any creature so happy to simply exist near others. That's what dogs are, Owen said. They were bred to be companions. Their happiness comes from being with their pack. Right now, Ranger's pack includes all of you. A group of young medical students had gathered at the door. They had been showing up every day watching everything Owen did with Ranger. Dr. Blake, one of them called out. A slug-like creature with eye stalks. May we ask questions? Sure, come on in. The students filed in nervously. There were 6 of them, all different species. They settled on the floor, keeping a respectful distance from Ranger. We want to understand, the slug student said. How does he know what to do? How did he learn to help in medical situations? Owen sat up straighter. Training. It takes about 2 years to fully train a medical service dog. We start when they're puppies, teaching them basic commands. Sit, stay, come. Then we gradually introduce medical scenarios. What kind of scenarios? Dr. Falness asked, now taking notes. Everything. We simulate injuries. Teach them to find people trapped under rubble. Train them to detect chemical changes that indicate illness. Ranger can smell when someone is about to have a seizure. He can detect certain cancers. He can tell when blood sugar is too high or too low. The students looked at each other in amazement. That level of scent detection should be impossible, one of them said. Our instruments can barely manage such precision. Biology isn't always about technology, Owen said. Dogs have been evolving their sense of smell for millions of years. 300 million scent receptors in their nose. The part of their brain devoted to analyzing smell is 40 times larger than the same part in human brains. No machine we've built can match that. And he uses this ability to help? Piran asked. She was sitting closer now, her wing resting lightly on Ranger's side. He wants to help. That's what makes him special. We didn't train him to care about people. He already did. We just taught him how to use his abilities in the most effective way. Ranger demonstrated this by suddenly lifting his head and looking at one of the students. The reptilian alien had been quiet throughout the discussion. Ranger stood up, walked over to the student, and sniffed carefully at their chest area. Then he looked back at Owen and whined. What is wrong with it? The reptilian student asked nervously. Owen pulled out his medical scanner. Ranger, what are you detecting? The dog pawed at the student's chest, then sat down and barked once. Owen scanned the area. You have an elevated heart rate. Blood pressure is higher than normal. Are you feeling okay? I have been stressed, the student admitted. Final examinations are approaching. I have not been sleeping well. Ranger can smell the stress hormones your body is producing, the chemical changes that come with anxiety and exhaustion. Owen checked the scan results. You should see a doctor. Your levels are high enough to be concerning. Dr. Falness immediately began her own examination. This is elevated significantly. Why did you not report this? I did not think it was serious, the student said. It is serious, Dr. Falness said firmly. You need rest and treatment. This could have led to system failure if left untreated. She looked at Ranger with new respect. He identified a medical problem that the patient themselves did not recognize, simply by scent. The students were staring at Ranger like he was some kind of miracle. This is what Earth animals can do? One asked. Some of them, Owen said. We have cats that can sense earthquakes before they happen. Birds that can be trained to detect forest fires. Rats that can sniff out landmines. Horses that help people with disabilities learn to walk again. Earth's biodiversity gave us a lot of partners to work with. And you brought all this knowledge to space with you, Quillen said from the doorway. Owen hadn't noticed her arrive. While we focused on technology, you focused on relationships. Both have value, Owen said. But yeah, humans learned a long time ago that working together is better than working alone. That includes working with other species. Quillen entered the room. She was carrying a data tablet. The Galactic Medical Council has been reviewing the incident. They want to understand what happened here. How an outbreak that our best doctors could not stop was solved by one human and one dog. It wasn't just us, Owen said. Dr. Falness risked her life to save me. Piran and the other staff helped evacuate patients. Everyone worked together. But you were the catalyst, Quillen said. You showed us that our fear was unfounded. That cooperation can come from unexpected places. She turned the tablet to show Owen. On the screen was an official-looking document. The Council wants to establish a trial program. Human medical response teams with service dogs would be stationed at various medical facilities across the galaxy to provide expertise in situations where conventional methods fail. That's a big step, Owen said. It is necessary. This outbreak proved that we have blind spots in our medical knowledge. Earth has experiences and partnerships we lack. Quillen looked at Ranger. And your companions have abilities we never imagined. What did you tell them? I said yes. Pending your approval, of course. They want you to oversee the program, train other human dog teams for space deployment, teach us how to work alongside Earth species. Owen looked at Ranger. The dog looked back at him, tail wagging. What do you think, buddy? Want to help train some new teams? Ranger barked enthusiastically. That's a yes, Owen said with a smile. But I have one condition. Name it. I don't want to sit behind a desk. I want to be out there responding to emergencies, showing people what Ranger and I can do. Training is important, but people learn best by example. Quillen's feathers ruffled, and what Owen had learned was amusement. A human who turns down a promotion to keep doing the dangerous work. You are an unusual species. We like to help, Owen said. It's what we do best. Piran raised her wing. May I volunteer to work with the program? I would like to learn more about Earth species and their medical applications. Me too, said the slug student. And me, said another. Soon all the students were volunteering. Even the stressed reptilian student, who Dr. Foulness had ordered to rest, was insisting he wanted to be part of this new initiative. Dr. Foulness looked at the eager students, then at Owen and Ranger. I believe you have started something significant here. A bridge between species, between different ways of thinking about medicine and partnership. That's the hope, Owen said. Humans have been building those bridges for a long time. Now we just get to build them across the stars. Ranger walked to the center of the room and sat down. 6 alien medical students surrounded him, all reaching out to touch him, to connect with this strange creature that had changed their understanding of what was possible. And through it all, the dog just sat there, tail wagging, happy to be exactly where he was supposed to be. 3 weeks after the outbreak, the Galactic Medical Council arrived at the station. Owen stood in the main conference chamber with Ranger at his side, facing a panel of 12 representatives from different species across the galaxy. They looked intimidating. Some were tall and crystalline. Others were small and covered in scales. One appeared to be made entirely of semi-liquid matter that shifted constantly. But they all had one thing in common. They were watching Ranger with intense interest. Dr. Blake, the head counselor said. She was a tall being with 6 arms and silver skin. We have reviewed all reports from the outbreak, the testimony from Administrator Quillen and Dr. Foulness, the medical data, the sensor logs. It is quite remarkable. Thank you. However, we have concerns. Owen had expected this. What kind of concerns? Allowing predator species into medical facilities across the galaxy sets a dangerous precedent. Many of our member species evolved from prey animals. The instinctive fear response is deeply ingrained. We cannot simply ignore millions of years of evolution. I understand that, Owen said. But fear can be overcome. Everyone on this station was terrified of Ranger at first. Now he has dozens of friends here. One of the counselors, a bird-like alien similar to Quillen, spoke up. Fear is a survival mechanism. It kept our ancestors alive. You are asking us to override our most basic instincts. No, Owen said. I'm asking you to look past instinct and see what's actually in front of you. Ranger isn't a threat. He's a helper. Judge him by his actions, not by his teeth. Easy words, another counselor said. But what happens when one of these dogs becomes aggressive? When the predator instinct takes over. Dogs don't work that way, Owen explained. They were bred specifically to control those instincts. A properly trained service dog has spent thousands of hours learning to stay calm in stressful situations. Ranger has been in war zones, natural disasters, and pandemics. He has never once acted aggressively toward someone who wasn't actively threatening me or his patients. There is always a first time, the Silver Counselor said. Ranger, who had been sitting quietly throughout the discussion, suddenly stood up. He walked to the center of the room in full view of all 12 counselors and lay down. Then he rolled onto his back, exposing his belly completely. The room went silent. What is he doing? One counselor whispered. It's a sign of trust and submission, Owen said. In dog behavior, showing your belly is saying, I am not a threat. I trust you not to hurt me. He's telling you that he means no harm. The liquid counselor flowed closer, examining Ranger from a safe distance. This is deliberate communication? Yes, dogs are experts at reading body language and emotional states. Ranger knows you're scared. He's trying to reassure you. Dr. Falness, who had been invited to testify, stood up. If I may speak? I was as frightened as anyone when Dr. Blake first arrived with Ranger. I thought we had allowed a monster onto our station. But I watched them work. I saw the bond between them. I saw Ranger save lives, including my own colleagues, and I realized that my fear was blinding me to something beautiful. Beautiful? The bird counselor sounded skeptical. Yes. The relationship between human and dog is built on mutual trust, respect, and affection. They are not master and servant. They are partners, friends, family. Dr. Falness gestured to Ranger. That creature could easily harm us with his teeth and claws, but he never would, because it goes against everything he was bred to be. He exists to help, to heal, to comfort. Quillen stood as well. I nearly cost lives because of my prejudice. I refused to let Dr. Blake help because I could not see past my fear. I was wrong, and I am asking this council not to make the same mistake I did. The Silver Counselor's expression was unreadable. You make compelling arguments. But we need more than words. We need demonstration. What kind of demonstration? Owen asked. Show us what makes these dogs so valuable. Prove that they are worth the risk of having predators in our medical facilities. Owen looked at Ranger. The dog was still on his back, tail wagging slightly. Okay. Ranger up. The dog rolled to his feet immediately. Everyone in this room, please remain seated and calm. Ranger is going to do what he does best. Owen gave a hand signal. Ranger began moving around the room, going from counselor to counselor. He sniffed each one carefully, his nose working overtime to process the complex chemical signatures of a dozen different species. At the third counselor, a small reptilian being, Ranger stopped. He sat down and placed his paw on the counselor's foot, then looked back at Owen. He's detected something, Owen said. He pulled out his medical scanner and approached the reptilian counselor. May I? The counselor nodded nervously. Owen ran the scan, then frowned. You have an infection in your respiratory system. Early stage. It hasn't shown symptoms yet, but Ranger can smell the bacteria and the immune response your body is producing. I have felt slightly tired recently, the counselor admitted, but I thought it was just the travel. If left untreated, this would have become serious in a few days, Owen said. Ranger just gave you an early warning. Time to see a doctor before it gets worse. The silver counselor leaned forward. He detected an infection that our own medical scans missed. Our scans are only as good as what we program them to look for, Dr. Falness said. A dog's nose doesn't have that limitation. It detects everything and lets the dog's brain sort through the data. Ranger continued his rounds. At the eighth counselor, the one made of liquid, he stopped again. This time he lay down and placed his head on his paws, whining softly. What does that mean? The liquid counselor asked. Owen knelt beside Ranger. He's sensing emotional distress, chemical markers of stress, anxiety, or depression. Are you okay? The counselor was silent for a long moment. I lost my partner recently. The grief has been difficult. I'm sorry for your loss, Owen said gently. Ranger can sense that pain. Dogs are incredibly empathetic. They were bred to care about human emotions, and they extend that caring to other species too. Ranger stood up and gently pressed his nose against the liquid counselor's form. The counselor rippled, surprised. It is comforting, the counselor said quietly. I did not expect that. To be comforted by a predator. He's not just a predator, Owen said. He's a healer. That's what you need to understand. Yes, his ancestors were hunters. But humans took those hunting instincts, the focus, the drive, the intelligence, and redirected them toward helping others. Ranger doesn't want to hurt you. He wants to take care of you. It's literally what he was born to do. Ranger finished examining all 12 counselors. He returned to Owen's side and sat down, looking proud of himself. The silver counselor consulted with her colleagues in low voices. Finally, she turned back to Owen. This council has made a decision. We will approve the trial program. Human medical response teams with service dogs will be deployed to 3 stations initially. If the program is successful, we will expand it. Owen felt relief wash over him. Thank you. You won't regret this. However, the counselor continued, there are conditions. All dogs must be extensively trained and certified. They must be monitored constantly. And at the first sign of aggression or danger, the program will be terminated immediately. That's fair, Owen said. I wouldn't want anything less. There is one more thing, the bird counselor said. We want you to establish a training facility. Not just for dogs and their human handlers, but for our own medical personnel. Teach them to understand Earth species. Help them overcome their fears. Build bridges between our ways of thinking. Owen smiled. We can do that. But it's not going to be a quick process. Building trust takes time. We have time, the Silver Counselor said. And thanks to your intervention here, we have hope. Hope that we can learn from Earth, that we can expand our understanding of what medicine can be. She stood up and the rest of the council followed. Dr. Blake, on behalf of the Galactic Medical Council, I thank you. You and your companion have opened our eyes to new possibilities. Ranger's tail wagged. 4 months later, Owen stood in the garden dome of Medical Station Harmony 7. It had been converted into a training area. 6 human dog teams were working with alien medical students, demonstrating search and rescue techniques. Owen watched a golden retriever named Daisy successfully locate a simulated casualty hidden under soft debris. Her handler, a woman named Amy from Australia, praised her enthusiastically while a group of insectoid aliens watched in fascination. It is still strange to see, Dr. Falness said, walking up beside Owen. Predators and prey working together so naturally. That's the beauty of it, Owen said. On Earth, we prove that ancient enemies can become the best of friends. Now we're proving it on a galactic scale. Ranger was across the dome playing with a group of young aliens. Piran's little sister, a child barely old enough to fly, was throwing a soft toy. Ranger would fetch it gently and bring it back, his tail wagging the entire time. The child was laughing, completely unafraid. Her parents would have never allowed that 4 months ago, Quillen said, joining them. She had been watching from a nearby bench. They would have been terrified. Now they bring her here every day to play with the dogs. Exposure therapy, Owen said with a smile. The best way to overcome fear is to face it. And when you face it and nothing bad happens, the fear disappears. Replaced by wonder, Dr. Falness added, I have been studying Earth biology in my spare time. Your world is extraordinary. So much diversity, so much danger. Yet you found ways to partner with so many species. Horses, cats, birds, even insects. We learned that nature isn't our enemy, Owen said. It's our home, and everything in it has value if we're willing to look for it. An alarm chimed on Owen's communicator. He checked it and sighed. Emergency call. Mining accident on Station Beta 9. 3 workers trapped. Unknown injuries. How far? Dr. Falness asked. 6 hours by shuttle. I will come with you, Dr. Falness said immediately. I want to see how you handle field emergencies. Me too, Quillen added. Someone needs to document this for the council records. Owen whistled. Ranger's head came up immediately. The dog said goodbye to the young aliens and trotted over, ready to work. Looks like we're back on duty, buddy. The dog barked once, ready. As they headed to the shuttle bay, Owen looked back at the training dome. Dogs and aliens working together, learning from each other, building something new. This was why he had come to space, not to show humanity's superiority, not to prove Earth was better than other worlds, but to share what they had learned, to offer partnership instead of dominance, to show that the galaxy was better when everyone worked together. The shuttle lifted off. Through the window, Owen could see dozens of stations scattered across space, each one a possibility, each one a chance to build new bridges. Ranger pressed against his leg, warm and solid and real. You know what, buddy? Owen said quietly. I think we're going to change the galaxy. Ranger's tail thumped in agreement. One station at a time, one emergency at a time, one scared alien learning to trust a dog at a time. That was how change happened. Not through grand declarations or sweeping policies, but through small moments of connection, through showing up when needed, through proving with actions that cooperation was stronger than fear. Humanity's greatest weapon had never been technology or intelligence. It had been this, the ability to look at something dangerous and see a friend.
To take a wolf and make it a partner.
To take a hostile galaxy and find family in it. The shuttle jumped to faster-than-light travel. Outside, the stars blurred into streams of light. And Owen Blake, a simple medic from Earth, traveled toward the next crisis with his best friend by his side, ready to prove once again that sometimes the most unexpected heroes come with 4 legs and a wagging tail. Replaced by wonder, Dr. Falness added, I have been studying Earth biology in my spare time. Your world is extraordinary, so much diversity, so much danger, yet you found ways to partner with so many species, horses, cats, birds, even insects. We learned that nature isn't our enemy, Owen said. It's our home, and everything in it has value if we're willing to look for it. An alarm chimed on Owen's communicator. He checked it and sighed. Emergency call. Mining accident on Station Beta 9. 3 workers trapped. Unknown injuries. How far? Dr. Falness asked. 6 hours by shuttle. I will come with you, Dr. Falness said immediately. I want to see how you handle field emergencies. Me too, Quillen added. Someone needs to document this for the council records. Owen whistled. Ranger's head came up immediately. The dog said goodbye to the young aliens and trotted over, ready to work. Looks like we're back on duty, buddy. The dog barked once, ready. As they headed to the shuttle bay, Owen looked back at the training dome. Dogs and aliens working together, learning from each other, building something new. This was why he had come to space, not to show humanity's superiority, not to prove Earth was better than other worlds, but to share what they had learned, to offer partnership instead of dominance, to show that the galaxy was better when everyone worked together. The shuttle lifted off. Through the window, Owen could see dozens of stations scattered across space, each one a possibility, each one a chance to build new bridges. Ranger pressed against his leg, warm and solid and real. You know what, buddy? Owen said quietly. I think we're going to change the galaxy. Ranger's tail thumped in agreement. One station at a time, one emergency at a time, one scared alien learning to trust a dog at a time. That was how change happened. Not through grand declarations or sweeping policies, but through small moments of connection, through showing up when needed, through proving with actions that cooperation was stronger than fear. Humanity's greatest weapon had never been technology or intelligence. It had been this, the ability to look at something dangerous and see a friend.
To take a wolf and make it a partner.
To take a hostile galaxy and find family in it. The shuttle jumped to faster-than-light travel. Outside, the stars blurred into streams of light. And Owen Blake, a simple medic from Earth, traveled toward the next crisis with his best friend by his side, ready to prove once again that sometimes the most unexpected heroes come with 4 legs and a wagging tail.